conversations, cocktails, and connections. I'm Amy Hester.
And I am Emily Reeves.
Welcome to our cocktail hour.
Cocktail hour, happy hour, where we're always making something new, and tonight is no different.
No different at all.
I will be honest, I looked specifically for recipes that would call for cognac, because we bought the Hennessy for a drink that we made a few episodes ago, and I was like, I've never had to buy this before, so the chances of me, I really don't ever encounter it in cocktail recipes that much when I'm looking, so I'm like, I'm going to try to find a cocktail recipe specifically with this, so we can make use of it. So, I found one that's called the Saint Jacques District. I don't know the origin of that of the name, like what the background of the drink is, but it sounded tasty because it has the cognac, it has grenadine.
Ooh, we haven't made anything with grenadine.
I know, we had to go get some. Cointreau and orange bitters and lemon juice. So it's got a lot of citrusy things happening.
So the grenadine reminds me of my waiting table days of like topping things off with grenadine at the bar, or I was not a bartender, or like making Shirley Temples.
Aww.
I mean, I didn't make a lot of Shirley Temples. It's just like if some kid was like, "Can I have some strawberry or whatever?" What is it?
It's rose.
Okay, rose. Sorry,
rose. Well, I don't know.
I think it's like
just
cherry.
It's Rose's products are
Is it
used
not cherry?
It doesn't say what the flavor is.
I thought it was like cherry.
It's not rose. Rose is the brand, clearly. I don't think it's cherry flavored though.
Okay.
I think it's just red.
It's just coloring.
Okay,
we could maybe dye our ends of our hair with this product.
As usual, we've done a lot of research so that we can explain to you all of the things that go into making this cocktail.
When you were talking about the name of before we started, Emily was like, "Here's what we're gonna make," and I'm like, "Oh, where is that from? Is that like New Orleans?" And she's like, "No, it might be Canada." And we're like, "Okay,
I don't know. We shouldn't mention that." So we did. We mentioned
bloopers.
All right, so let's get started, and then we'll talk a little bit about our next guest for this episode. Okay, so we're going to mix everything up in a cocktail shaker and then pour it over ice. I think we're supposed to pour it into chilled glasses, which I did not plan enough ahead, so we're just putting it over ice. So I'm going to start with the cognac and pour that in. Okay. Saint Jacques District. So it calls for 2 ounces of cognac. So we double everything around here, as we know. So we'll be putting 4 ounces in. But a single is
the surprising part when we did make our last cognac cocktail, we did actually like it.
We did. I can't even remember what it was.
I can't either, but I remember I was nervous about it.
Yeah.
Because it was just so the unknown of it. And yeah.
All right, it's a half ounce of Cointreau, so we'll put in
orange
1 ounce
liqueur
for our doublings. It is a half ounce of grenadine. Who knows what the flavor is on that?
I swear it's cherry.
Maybe, but that's a weird flavoring to go with orange, lemon, and orange and lemon. So I don't know. It looks like cough syrup is what it looks like.
I'm telling you, a kid would you would pour that on a Sprite.
I was trying to look to see if it needed to be refrigerated after opening, and it doesn't say. So I'm guessing
it's usually at the bar, just sitting there getting syrupy grossness all around the edges.
All right, half ounce of lemon juice.
But not in our house. Her house or mine.
Hopefully not. Okay, and then we've got 2 dashes of the orange bitters. So 1,
bringing
2,
out the bitters.
3, 4.
Okay.
And then we're going to put ice in there, shake it up, and strain it into our glasses.
Look how cute this is. Getting the orange swirl.
Yes.
Getting ready for a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so you know what? Because of the time of year right now, Kroger, my favorite time is when they put the caramel apples out.
Caramel? I've never even seen those.
Oh my God, Kroger always.
Now, to be fair, Matthew does the grocery shopping at our house.
Carameled apples with nuts on them. It's this time of year is my favorite, and I always get some from Kroger.
That's so interesting. I would have never guessed that about you.
At the fair, so if I ever went to the fair, which they're not having the fair this year, You know what though? I wonder if they will do the fair food at Barton. Like have
like to go or
yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
if I ever went to a fair, fun place like the fair, I would always get a carameled apple to go and take it home, and I devour it, like cut it into little cubes or whatever. Okay. It's very red.
It is. I think that's the whole point of the grenadine.
Yeah. I can smell it. Those are beautiful.
I'm trying to
little orange worms.
Make them a little bit prettier. And there's still some left in our mixing cup.
Well, that's good.
If we like it. All right. Cheers.
Has there been anything that we haven't really liked?
Mm-hmm. I don't know about this one. That was it tastes a little medicine-y.
It's the grenadine.
You think it is?
Ugh.
You think it's the grenadine?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got like an aftertaste, like a cough syrupy aftertaste.
Yeah.
And I know we like all these other things. This is the only new thing we've added, so maybe.
It's making me make my weird bitter face.
Bitter beer face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, I don't love it, but I'm probably still going to drink it.
I probably will too. I'm not going to ask for a new drink.
Well, bartender might get pissed. This is the only thing the bartender prepared for.
It does have like the aftertaste lingers, and it's not cognac.
No, it's not.
It is totally.
I mean, it's got to be this
Grenadine. It smells like a.
This even smells like cough syrup.
It's almost like you poured a melted popsicle.
Yeah, but it's got like a little bit of a bitter taste to it. I mean, I'm gonna keep drinking it so I can numb my taste buds.
How freaking weird was that to say? Has there been any drink that we don't like?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of jinxed it.
Sorry.
But we didn't love. There's been some other things that we didn't love. There's that thing we made with the
White Russian.
Well, you didn't love the White Russian. I love a White Russian. But then we made that thing with the super ginger beer. Like it was like super gingery, and
that was my fault. Because I bought the stupid worst ginger beer ever.
It was a good-looking bottle.
Yeah, it was cute.
So we didn't like that. Then there was something else that we didn't love. I'd have to look back. Like, I've started a database, y'all. Like, we're at the point in our show now where I have a database of guests and cocktails because we've got so many. I need to make notes on whether we like the cocktails or not now. Like, you'd think we would just remember, but we're at that point where we can't.
So today's guest is...
Most importantly...
Glenn McCracken. He's a friend.
I don't know Glenn. Amy knows Glenn.
I love Glenn. He is one of the most positive people. You know, we've had one other positive person that I talked about. Remember? I
was going to say, everybody's been pretty positive.
Oh, I know everybody's positive, Jesus. But no, I'm just saying, like, he's a counselor. You
put him on, like, the same level as Christina.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah.
A good person.
Kind of like a mentor and a coach.
Yes.
And life coach kind of thing.
He and his wife own a gym in town in Soma called SparkFit. It is great. I met Glenn a while back when Clubhouse Fitness first came to Little Rock, and that's where I met him. So I've known him for a long time, and he's just a really good trainer, a really good guy, and I'm real happy to introduce him to you.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to meet him and hear what he has to say.
He's probably gonna make a mocktail because I don't think he drinks. He's super healthy.
Well, we pass no judgment on that.
None.
Like, actually, I have a lot of respect for that.
I know.
Because,
Sometimes we're like, I want to drink a mocktail, but my body is like, grab the cocktail.
Seriously.
Okay, let's meet Glenn.
Let's do it.
Cheers. Hello.
What up?
How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. I want you to meet Emily.
Hello, Glenn. Nice to meet you.
What's up, Emily?
So are you making a drink this
Well, no,
evening, or did you already make
I
one?
don't actually drink.
Yes,
I've been sober for like, I don't know, 4 years or something like that.
That's
that's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, now I'm on a pretty good streak. I did think about busting it for today, for this
We would not
special
want you to do
I
that.
cannot be responsible for that. So, Glenn, I want to welcome you to Conversations, Cocktails, and Connections. This is Glenn McCracken. And Glenn, tell us and tell Emily, because I've given her a little bit of what you do, but I want to hear how you come out and tell what you do.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm credentialed as a therapist and a personal trainer, and I think my objective is to help people be healthy, just like mind, body, spirit, specifically like the way that they engage themselves. And then I also help people be like more content. So just like accept life on life's terms. And then my objective is to make people flourish. So not only flourishing is like the ability to have a positive impact on those around you. So,
When I was telling Emily about you, I was like, so he is one of those people that you want to be around, that is a positive human, that reflect, I mean, that you just like, it just is your whole aura. Like you are so good at being such a good mentor as far as like train. I mean, I train with him. I'm probably not the best at thinking about what I should be eating all the time and drinking. Hence, sorry, we did make cocktails, and I am going there in the morning. But anyway, I do feel like, and this is, I met you when you came to Clubhouse, when Clubhouse first opened, and I met you there. And even then, I was like, I enjoy being around him, because you could be in a bad mood and you will still feel good about yourself when you leave.
Oh.
Do you do like one-on-one consults, like almost like life coaching type situations, or how do people interact with you beyond the physical kind of gym situation?
Yeah, great question. So today I've been in this office. So I'm actually in my therapy office right now. The little thing there says like, be your best friend. And then, all therapists have to have like their books. And so got all my books, but yeah, so I've had two couples. I've had two couples that have come in person. I've had three teenagers, two of them online. And then I've had two adults, one of them going through a recovery process, and then the other one experiencing what I would consider like body dysmorphia, or not what I would consider, but what the DSM considers body dysmorphia. So I'm like licensed with the state board, got my master's in clinical mental health, and interact with people that way. So today is a real clinical day for me. I would say any of the life coaching style work that I do is mostly going to be on the gym side. And then we've kind of packaged that differently. And so we interact, I think right now we have, we're influencing about 190 employees through health and wellness and psychological wellness. And so there's elements of the coaching that's in that, but it's packaged in a scalable nature so that we can influence companies and employees.
Your business, the gym part, I don't know if we actually said this out loud, is SparkFit.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
Oh man. So SparkFit, there's a book called Spark, and it is about the way that these PE teachers in Indiana just revolutionized their school's educational system by putting like adolescents into PE either right before or right after their worst performing class. And the school itself was like lowest performing in the state. And now, even today, it's like one of the top 15 in the world math and science schools. And so it was just about the way that exercise really impacts overall human functioning. And so that's where like the word spark came from. And we had to put in fit because we wanted people to know that like just kind of what we did. There's like a Spark energy drink out there. And so if you just like said that you were Spark, people, and they still do, show up and assume that we have Spark.
My gosh.
Hilarious.
As an energy drink. So we love that name mostly because it just communicates that we plan on being infectious and starting with the body.
I love that. Well, for my input on when you walk into his gym, it's not your typical, you don't have Stairmasters, you don't have treadmills and all of that stuff. It's a small group training gym. Is that what you would say it was? Yeah. But there's so much there that things that you're like, what do I do with this? But you are so so good at explaining and watching how your body moves. And when I'm coming from just me, when I'm thinking of like, I'm doing something right, and you come over and you're like, okay, you need to do this. And you're like, oh, I didn't know I was doing that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think even when you're in it, because when Amy and I are training together, when it's just the two of us, or with Narcissa as well. But when the other small groups and there's other people around, you're so good at being able to, and there's what do you think, like 6 people at a time? So there's not very many people there.
Right.
But I swear he can be way over here and we're over here and he knows what we did. I'm like, okay, I can't cheat on that counting because he knows. But I mean, what do you think your biggest training, like what do you train the most in? Like for body, I mean, are you just all over the board? I mean, are you doing kettlebells? Are you doing Pilates? Or are you doing, what do you train the most in?
You know, I classify those things as like people showing up for either like muscle strengthening goals or muscle lengthening goals. And a lot of people need everybody needs a balance of those things. And so it's usually just assessing what somebody's deficient in. And so whether that's strength or length, so flexibility, and then just getting clear about how to balance those exercises. And then the tools get selected mostly as a result of just looking at somebody's body and determining what tool is going to create the shape or the goal that is that they're saying that they're after.
That's good.
So how did you get into fitness?
Oh man, great question. It started, I mean, athletics is just like the big pusher of it. And so everything came from, competitive baseball, competitive basketball, football. Those things were just like driven into me, even as a young kid. Soccer. I mean, like I played soccer as a kid in Europe for like 3 straight summers, for like a little world Olympic team, and then was on national baseball teams. And so like real competitive sports was just a part of my upbringing. And then when it came to exercise, that probably started happening as a result of injury. And so just getting as a result of injury. And then the other problem with sports is that you always need so many other people to make the sport happen. And that became just a really, that just is frustrating. I mean, like when was the last time y'all were in a basketball game, or when y'all were in a soccer game, or when you even had like 10 friends that wanted to get together and like be that active? It's just extremely difficult to do. And so fitness for me really started to kick off probably my junior year of high school. And I started competing in bodybuilding shows during that time, waking up, running a 5K every day. Yeah, I was Mr. Teen Arkansas.
Didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, me either until I won it, and that was in 2003, and then that just led to a bunch of other competitions throughout college. But that was like my intro to fitness. I had no idea that you could even make money in it until I was a cheerleader at the University of Arkansas. and I was at a gym, and the owner of the gym was like, "Hey, Glenn, this person wants to train with you." And I was like, well, I don't know what that means. I have a workout partner. And they were like, well, no, like they want to pay you, and then you tell them what to do. And I was like, oh my God, like they want
Sign me up.
Blow my mind. Pay
so
me all day.
right, man. I mean, it was definitely like that. I mean, I just had no idea that you could make money doing this. And people always told me to just like do what I love, and the rest will take care of itself. And it feels like that's the life that I live now.
That's awesome.
So where in Arkansas are you from?
I'm from Conway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
so
far.
not far at all. I've always loved Little Rock and wanted to like be in the capital city, and so I thought that I would live in Fayetteville a little bit longer than what I did, but I'm happy to be back. Central Arkansas, as a counselor, you really want to go where people have like good memories of you, and so you just get referrals a lot easier that way.
Sure.
And so that's proven to be very true.
So has COVID affected your counseling business? Like what kind of needs are people having because of COVID?
Oh man, yeah, COVID, the way that it's affected my counseling business has been a couple ways. I mean, from a business standpoint, I did 0 telehealth appointments pre-COVID, and now I'm about 40% telehealth. And
Wow.
so that's one way. I would say the other way that it's affected is that like every conversation that is had with a client in some way um, has to include the way that we're adapting to COVID. Social distancing, just as people, the way that this interview is happening is just another great example of it. Like social distancing has just kind of driven us away from one another as a whole. And with my teens, I would say that parents are becoming a lot more aware of what their kids are doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just like seeing them a lot. And the vice versa is there. The kids are seeing their parents a lot. And, there's a lot of lost respect that happens as a result of what some people do during their spare time. And, those adolescents, they've got opinions about what's good and what's not, and what's right and what's wrong. And man, I hear it all. And so, there, and I've had a couple cases. I think my marital counseling has increased quite a bit too, just as a result of couples having to just like be together so much. And then also the reduction of like other couples coming into their lives and the energy that people feed off of that way. That's been other ways that it's been affected.
Man, I can totally see all of that.
I've heard a lot of those kind of stories too.
Yeah.
There's been some quarantine divorces, and just
Quarantine babies, maybe.
quarantine babies, like on both sides of it,
Or
right?
quarantine puppies. But I mean, just on a mental thing of just the fact of like, just you don't realize the affection. We need affection, whether it's from your spouse or from your friends. I mean, the hugging, the touching,
Yeah.
not in a sexual way. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh, I want to give you a big hug. I miss that. I miss shaking people's hand. I miss all of the things.
Yeah.
And I know I can see how people that didn't do a lot of that before or didn't leave their house much. I mean, I can see how this could easily affect and make things so much worse by not leaving your house. And I don't know. I mean, I have a place to go, my business, but if I would have to stay constantly and work all day with my spouse, it would be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it's going to be that way for everybody.
I've seen, just another comment on that is that the house has become so many different things, whereas before it was almost like a refuge. And now it's like the place where you work, it's the place where you work out, it's the place where you teach your kids, it's the place where like everybody does everything. And then like that's just one person's perspective. And then you multiply that, and then you also pull your kids into that. And it's like the place where they practice baseball and the place where they practice this. And like, I mean, it's the home itself has actually been just so cross-utilized during this time that it's just gets heavier as a result of the usage. There's more feelings in it.
Yeah. I mean,
That makes
do you
sense.
have a lot of young clients? I mean, do you counsel a lot of not
I see
tweens?
a lot of adolescents.
You
So
do?
today I've had I think I've affected 9 total people. And so that's 7, or that's 5, and then 2 couples. And of the 5, one was 11, the other one was 15, the other one was 17.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah.
So without giving anything away of what are on a perspective of an adolescent, like what are their troubles? I mean, what is a day-to-day trouble besides what I could probably guess by just watching TV or,
Yeah, like why does
bullying.
an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old, come in?
Of course. Mostly environment. And so there's something in their environment that has created such stress in their own brain that they either don't think right, so they don't behave right, or they don't feel right and therefore don't think right and behave right. And so that's that's pretty much the gist of it for an 11-year-old, is that they're so impacted by their environment that that any kind of presentation to counseling is going to be mostly because it's well, we need to really help some parents here become more functioning. The other, I think that for teenagers, there's so much of just self-image.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We all, I don't remember the day that I woke up and decided that I didn't like my body, but with my relationship with teenagers, I would say that it's definitely had to have been sometime around 16 or 17, where you just someday you just wake up and you're at war with the way that you look. And you're just my face is stupid. I got these zips. My belly's this way, and you just have all these bad thoughts about yourself. And so self-image, self-concept, and body positivity is probably some of the hottest topics that I work with kids on.
And so our parents, the kids aren't the one oh, I need to talk to somebody. It's typically the parents are okay, this might help to talk to somebody.
It depends. Kids, I would say that was probably truer for my generation of adolescents. But for the generation right now, I think mental health has become so normalized, and feelings are actually celebrated a little bit more. Individualization, saying what you need to say, those things are becoming so normal that they're asking for therapists. And I would say in some schools, it's probably a thing. It's who's your
Yeah.
therapist? And there's a certain element of status
That's so great. I mean, that's so healthy, right?
it can be, for sure.
Did you utilize correctly, I guess?
Yeah.
Or for the right reasons, more so?
Yeah, for the right reasons. And therapy is a business too. It's really easy for a therapist to continue seeing a client even though it's not necessary, just because that's where they're getting their income. And so it's easy to just you can just keep picking people apart and identify problems in people until we're always a work in progress. And so I think that's something that I really try to do with my teenagers is get a good stop sign and just be all right, when we get here, we're stopping, and if you really want to re-engage again, then come back in 3 months, we'll see how much, you want to re-engage. And I've been doing counseling in Little Rock for, I guess it's now 5 years, and have seen kids go from graduating high school to college and been able to they'll come back and just be oh man, this is what's happening now. And telehealth has actually increased my kids that were in Fayetteville and Louisiana, going to school different places. Wow. They've been oh, now I can see Mr. Glenn again.
Oh yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, the accessibility I think is a huge part of telehealth. I would think that that's a really great evolution of the business. Would you agree? Do you feel like you get the same kind of connection that you would if they were in person?
Man, sometimes better. It really depends on the presentation. Kids that are technology addicts, which can be a lot. Those ones, like, I mean, even right now, it's like, it's pretty easy for me to like be here on this screen and then do whatever on this device right back here.
Yeah.
Pretend to be here and like so good at distracted attention that that can happen. And so there's some kids that like, attention span's another big element. But I notice with a lot of the clients that present with depression, that this mode of therapy has actually been a little bit more effective than not.
I heard you talking about Olive, and she has some nighttime monster situation that
Oh
she's kind
yeah,
of scared. So I have something for you, and I haven't brought it yet, but I have something to get for you to give to Olive. So I'll try to remember to bring it tomorrow.
can't wait.
But to tell me what, so she's like thinks monsters are in her room, or what's going on?
Yeah.
And how does a therapist like talk her, a counselor talk her out of that one?
I mean, she, kids just are so full of belief and imagination. It's really healthy for them. And we all believe things that are not true and scary. And so I think that that's just kind of the commonality of it. And there's no convincing somebody that what's not true isn't true. They just have to keep experiencing it and be loved and supported until it gets revealed to her. And so man, we go in there and we like beat up any monsters, and we make sure, and like we check where they are, and like we pull them out. And we we've tried to do things like dress things up as monsters and put them in places, and then like physically like whoop them and like be like, see, it's not a monster anymore, and like just really
It's like, that's not the monster, Dad.
That's so cute.
We try to deconstruct the reality, and so just as a technique, but it just doesn't work. But it's fun. It makes you feel like you're doing something right as a parent when you're just like going above and beyond to absolve whatever fear. But 5 has been great for her. She's homeschooling as long as with a whole bunch of other kids right now. And I think just being at home and being with her mom so much, they're just the happiest that they've been in our 5 years of marriage or 6 years of marriage.
Yeah. Well, so you traveled recently. So where did you go? You went to Colorado on a big hiking thing?
Yeah. I went to Colorado. One of my clients and friends, Daniel Felton, invited me to do some hiking for 3 days hiking, 2 days of pretty intense like business planning. So we had a consultant come out there for the last 2 days and just kind of guide us through some strategizing and planning. And the hikes were amazing. So we were in, oh man, why am I not going to remember this place now? Winter Park, Colorado.
Okay.
Is where we were. And so it was really great the way that it all kind of lined up. The big mountain that we hiked, so the day one, we hiked this place called Devil's Thumb. And Devil's Thumb Ranch is actually where Google does their corporate retreats. And so the space itself is like swanky. There's like a resort out there, and they won't even let you pick up food unless you're staying there, which is like,
oh, wow,
kind of rude. But we hiked up to Devil's Thumb, saw like a live elk from
wow.
like within like 30 feet of our bodies. And so that was a little scary, but we hiked Devil's Thumb. And then the next day we hiked St. James Peak. And St. James is more like a 13,600 foot cliff. The other one's like a 12,000 foot elevation climb. And it was really cool, just like spiritually too. I'd been studying the book of James, and I'm like interested in Jesus, and like to the sense where like James is his brother. And I'm just thinking like, I have a brother. Do y'all have siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, could you imagine one of them claiming to be God's son?
Yes.
like it would just blow my mind if my brother just started saying that. And so like I really wanted to just like understand James more, and so start reading about James and like learning about just how he gets on board with Jesus being the Son of God. And and anyway, I'd been studying that for almost like 3 months, and then got to go hike a peak that I didn't pick that was called James Peak. And then so it just felt like somewhat cool. And I would consider Daniel like a brother to me. And so it was nice to like be there and be like, oh, like, I feel like that I'm supposed to believe in him in a way.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Create that relationship. So,
well, did y'all have a guide or did you do this alone?
No, I mean, it's a pretty common hike.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Daniel and his wife, they have a house out there. And so he'd done that hike, I think like 8 years ago or something.
Yeah. Well, you said something about business. Y'all are strategizing business. What are you doing?
Oh man. So part of the corporate wellness work that has been occurring, has been like it has occurred because Daniel and I have come into contact with each other. And Arkansas doesn't have, as a state, we don't even have any wellness company that exists here. And so every company in Arkansas would contract corporate wellness from some outside of Arkansas company. And so we wanted to get together, and like SparkFit has been a vendor for EngageMed for a while now, and as a corporate wellness provider. And so we just wanted to like give some time to really strategizing around how that could be impactful for the state of Arkansas and beyond.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, I love Daniel. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he's like infectious too. He's just got that kind of energy. And what I love about traveling with Daniel is like we wake up at like 5 a.m. We drink coffee and like we get after it. And so like I like vacation.
That would not be me. That would be her.
Yeah, I would be into that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Emily's my active one. Yeah. Like I'm like a beach trip. I'm like, oh no. Like, you mean we just lay there?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Glenn, tell us and tell everybody listening how to contact you, what your social media handles are, and all things.
All the things.
Yeah, you bet. So if you were trying to contact me, you would do a good job at emailing me at Glenn, that's double N, GLENN at sparkfitlr.com. If you're trying to book a session with me, you would want to email Levi at sparkfitlr.com. Levi is my virtual assistant, and it is just like the bomb when it comes to that. And then I'm on Instagram. Man, I tried to do a good job of posting. I wish I was better, honestly.
It's another job.
I wish I had the desire to be better in that regard too, but it's Glenn_SparkFitLR on Instagram, and then on Facebook, I'm just my name on there. And that's all that I've got social media wise. And I don't even feel like that I crush it in that regard. So many of my clients are just like, I wish you'd post more. Well,
I feel like you've been doing a little bit more on the SparkFit. Like you've been letting some trainers take over, which has been pretty good.
Yeah.
That's easy content, right?
It's very easy content, and it gives them an opportunity to like just kind of give clients insight to what's happening on their end. And that's been probably that's a difficult part of our business, is that, SparkFit is just like, that's one of 4 revenue streams for us. But it all happens under SparkFit. But like, if anyone asks, if you go to our website, you just are going to sign up for classes or inquire about training, and like, you're not going to get to counseling that way. And you're also not going to get to corporate wellness that way. So some of those are just like growing pains for us, where we've just outgrown our brand in a way. Yeah. And we need to just rethink that. But COVID.
But COVID. I need a t-shirt that says, but COVID.
I know. But COVID, yes. We should end it until we can be face-to-face with people. But COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, Glenn. Well, thank you so much. And I'm glad you got to meet Emily.
It was a pleasure to meet you. Really, really great.
And I will see you in the morning.
I'll see you in the morning. Hey, I do have one trivia question.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so,
oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
Which white wine grape variety is most widely planted in California?
Is it multiple choice?
Which white wine grape variety is most widely planted in California?
I'm going to go with Chardonnay.
Ding, 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 ding. Wow. All right.
Oh my gosh, I was like so ready for you to give me like.
Wait, now I want another one.
A, B, and C.
Okay. All right, let me give you one more.
Okay.
Which dessert traditionally involves soaking sponge fingers in coffee and rum?
Oh,
is it the coffee?
No. It's tiramisu.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the coffee. It has coffee. It's mocha.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew, but I couldn't think of it.
I thought I would fail at all these. Now I want another. I'm just kidding.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right. The ideal cellar temperature for wine is 9 degrees, 13 degrees, or 16 degrees Celsius.
Ooh, I thought it was going to be like.
I don't know. I'm going to go with 16. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Amy, you put a guess in because she's wrong.
At
9 or 13?
13.
Boom!
Oh, I knew it from the beginning.
Look, this is validation that y'all should definitely be doing a conversation.
Also, we need to understand the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit.
I know, because totally. Okay, thank you.
I'll have
that. You're gonna have
these for you, and actually a bunch of liquor, so that the next one that you have, the next thing that y'all have, you can put together the cocktail that I sent you via text message.
Okay.
All the liquor for it too. I thought you get to make
nice.
Quinn, thank you so much. You're so
Oh
sweet.
yeah, man. I'm really thankful for y'all. I want to support y'all doing whatever it is that you do, and so
thank you.
You bet.
Okay.
You're awesome.
Emily, thank you so much. It's great to know
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet you.
Bye.